Good evening and welcome everyone, where our motto is facts with a passion for making sure that we can all access sufficient clean drinking water and flush our toilets as many times as we may need to. You get to ask our experts questions live here right on the show and leave your comments in the or questions in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. Please do let us know in the comments where you are watching us from. This broadcast is brought to you and sponsored by BeLive Media in conjunction with Water Shortage South Africa. Please note that you can watch this broadcast live on the following Facebook pages and groups: the Cape Town Water Crisis page and group, the South Africa Water Crisis Facebook page and group, as well as the Water Shortage South Africa Facebook page and group. However, if you are wanting to comment and participate in the broadcast live, please do ensure that you go to the Facebook page called Cape Town Water Crisis, which is facebook.com/Cape Town Water Crisis. That's where we will be able to see your comments live on the show. Tonight, we're going to unpack the inflow of raw, untreated sewage into the VAAL River in Gauteng, South Africa. And here to help us unpack the story is world-renowned scientist and water strategist Dr. Anthony Turton, who hardly needs any introduction. So I'm going to welcome him straight away. Anthony, a very warm welcome to the broadcast.
There's a very bad sound. You very bad ink. You sound like marbles falling down or something in the background. It's very difficult to hear what you say.
Okay, I need to ask, I can see Coral, I can see you there. Can you let me know what the sound is like coming from myself and the sound coming from Anthony? Can you let me know in the comments, please? Before we continue, let's just see if we can get the sound sorted out.
Sorry, you got me to say something.
Okay, yes, please do. Okay, anyone watching, can you please let us know where the sound interference is coming from? Anthony, can you say something just so we can hear which direction it's possibly coming from?
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Is that enough? Carry on.
Okay, so Coral Foster is watching in the comments and she's saying that my sound is very clear. So Anthony, can I ask you on your browser, can you just hit the refresh button and that may solve it?
I see the refresh button.
Yes, please, on your browser, just refresh the browser.
Where do I find that refresh button?
Okay, so let's just wait for a moment and see. Let me see what your comment is here. Coral, Anthony, you two are clear, but now and again you're breaking up. Okay, so let's see if we can get that problem solved. Give us a moment. We will get Doc back onto the broadcast again in a moment. And you're back. Let's hear what it sounds like now. Are you able to hear me?
It's garbled, completely garbled. It's like things being cut to pieces and can't hear what you say.
Okay, so give me a moment. I'm going to refresh my browser as well. Okay.
Now you're okay. Now you're okay. So
is it okay now?
Yeah, but it comes and goes. So yeah, so you're okay now. Okay,
great. Ray says he can hear us perfectly. So getting back to our topic for tonight, which is the VAAL River. I've been having a look online and I found there's various articles floating around about it. Something like the VAAL River is like a dirty toilet. Joburg might have water, but it's loaded with sewage. Pollution of the VAAL River is at a crisis point. VAAL River pollution dangerous for life. And then I found an article way back to 2007, which also mentioned that the VAAL River had already in 2007 reached a crisis point. Ray, thanks for confirming that we both are fine. Anthony, how long ago did this problem start? Because it's clearly not a new problem.
Sorry, are you asking me? Because you broke
Yes,
up very
yes, I'm
badly.
asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, this problem has been going for some time now. I mean, I've written about it certainly for a few years now. So it's absolutely nothing new, and it's quite easy to understand. It's when you allow a municipality to just get in deeper and deeper into debt, and being run by politically appointed people without any experience, and have no concern about the integrity of the institutions, etc. Not pay your Eskom bills, not pay your water bills. Obviously, you're going to get deeper and deeper into debt. So this is as much a failure as it is with anything else. What you see now in the VAAL case is absolute systemic failure. What I've been predicting now for some years, the system has failed. And when I say the system has failed, not only the hard infrastructure, so much, also the soft structure, the institutions, the payment systems, all of those things that support it. So I'm afraid, we've done about this for a long time, and it's very sad, but it is what it is.
And Tony, somebody asked me a question in the comments earlier. Did this problem occur pre-1994, or did it happen post-1994?
No, it's certain. Well, look, infrastructure has broken down in the past, and its infrastructure will break down. It all comes down to preventative maintenance. Certainly, I'm not aware that it has occurred on this scale, pre-1994. I just don't think it happened. I think it was unthinkable. It was unconscionable that such a thing would happen. You must appreciate that the VAAL River is extremely important, not only for the people of Gauteng, but for the national economy. Something like 50% of the total economic activity in the country, I'm not sure what the exact number is, but it's something in that order, is sustained by the VAAL River. And so what happens here affects the entire economy of South Africa. And the next thing that you must understand is that coming out of the VAAL River is one of the largest bulk water treatment entities in the world. Rand Water is one of the largest bulk water suppliers in the world. It's bigger than any in America, bigger than any in Europe. And this is a fact. But even with this great level of sophistication with Rand Water, they were never ever designed, the engineering processes were never ever designed to take sewage and treat it into safe, potable drinking water. Their systems were designed to remove suspended solids, in other words, fine clay from the VAAL River, the VAAL River, and that's what they've done successfully since 1901 or 1902 when they were started. But they were never ever engineered to make sewage water safe. So it is an absolute crisis, not only for the people immediately next to the river, or not only for the people in the townships in the area, but for the entire Rand water supply area.
That means that the extent of the damage caused by the wake of this sewage problem is massive, and therefore you're looking at a huge amount of the population that's going to be affected.
Yes, you see, absolutely. It's not only sewage that is the problem in that area. If anyone that's been following the water debate will know that the acid mine drainage story has been going on now since 2002 at least. In 2006, I think it was, if my memory serves me, there was a study done by the Department of Water Affairs on the salinity levels in the VAAL River system. That study found that one of the biggest contributors of salinity in the system is, in fact, your combination of mines and also sewage. And they decided then that they've got to clean up the river, that they've got to remove the salination at source, which means that they've got to desalinate the acid mine drainage water, and they've also got to grade the sewers. That was 2006. still waiting for that stuff to happen. So that's why I say it is a systemic failure. It is a failure of the regulatory authority to intervene in time before the municipality gets so far into debt that they are unable to get out of it. They get caught in the debt trap. And that's just where we are. We've allowed this thing to carry on, and it's just not going to get any better. Unfortunately, what is happening in the VAAL River system is very much symptomatic of what's happening across the country. Because in other parts of the country, you've got similar problems, but they don't attract the same amount of media attention because they're kind of out of the way, and people have just come to accept that this is the way it's done.
So if we look back now at whose responsibility this is it the responsibility of the local municipality, or does this fall under the purview of the Department of Water and Sanitation?
Well, the Constitution of South Africa and the relative legislation, the National Water Act, the Water Services Act, the NEMA, National Environmental Management Act, they all speak to each other. And in that draft of legislation, the role of the national government, in other words, the Department of Water and Sanitation, is to regulate. And the role of the provincial authority is to regulate. But the role of your local municipality is to provide the service. So there's a very clear definition of roles and responsibilities. This speaks to a constitutional crisis. And when I say, I've said earlier on, it's as much a failure of our soft institutions as it is of your hard infrastructure. The reason I say that is because within the Constitution of South Africa, there's a clause that refers to cooperative governance. In other words, all of the government are obliged to cooperate with each other. And unfortunately, under the current leadership of the country, that clause has been interpreted to mean that your government regulatory body cannot enforce or cannot take to court or cannot fine or charge or any. Basically, they cannot. Their hands are cut off. They can't have a big stick when they're trying to police the law. So, until such time as we get constitutional clarity with the meaning of the cooperative governance clause, I can expand that by saying that during the last municipal election, go back to that period of time, it was a highly contested election. And we know at that point in time that the minister, the then Minister of Water Affairs, Nomfundo Mokonyane, was also the chairman of the election committee. She was in charge of the election process. She gave instruction to the people within the department that during the election period were not allowed to go and enforce any of the regulations because that could become a political issue. It could be seen by one party as benefiting over another. So we've seen a systematic failure of governance, failure of oversight. In fact, in my view, the Department of Water and Sanitation is all but defunct. It exists in name only. Whether it continues to work in a functional format, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee is currently investigating it, for their massive debt. And I actually doubt whether the department is in fact functional at this point in time. And if the Department of Water Affairs is not functional properly, we know for a fact that your Mfuleni municipality is now in what would effectively be business rescue. It is bankrupt. So you've got local authority failure, you've got national authority crisis, and the crisis is across the whole country when it comes to national. Is this going to get any better soon? Personally, I don't think so. I think this is the new normal, and what it's going to take to turn around, I don't know. I wish I had some words of inspiration. But the sheer scale and magnitude is such that I don't think it's going to be turned around in the very near future.
Anthony, what does this mean for the people that lives there? I mean, apart from the stench that some people have to live with, I mean, I've seen video footage of animals dying, the fish are dying, along the river is busy dying. And this water is all flowing into the VAAL Dam. Can this, apart from the environmental impact, what would be would there be health issues that people need to be concerned about?
Oh, absolutely. When you've got sewage flowing into a water resource, our rivers are our national water resource. That is the source of potable and industrial processed water for the entire economy. So when that happens, sewage is a very complex thing. It's not just about sewage. It's about the things that are inside the sewage. So, for example, you get high levels of nutrients, typically phosphate and nitrate that come with sewage. And that starts driving your blue-green algae. And we've spoken about this before, this whole issue of cyanobacteria. A cyanobacteria, primitive organism, and it thrives. It loves this kind of thing. So you'll see any photograph of sewage flows, you always see these luminous green rafts of algae. It almost looks like luminous paint that we built. But that's blue-green algae. They emit a toxin called microcystin. That toxin is given off by the single-cell bacteria when it's distressed, and it's not detected by any of our current filtration processes. Already we're seeing microcystins flowing throughout our site. And I can give you numbers of that if you want to, but it's one of the things. The other thing, of course, that sewage, you've got a whole lot of medication, partially metabolized medication. So let's just take a group of medications that we know that there are very high levels of estrogen because people use birth control medication across society. We know for a fact that there's estrogen return flows in our drinking water, not moved by our filtration processes because they're just not designed to move these so-called endocrine disrupting chemicals. And of course, another thing coming back in our flows, any other medication that has been taken, and we know that South Africa's got a high level of HIV, and therefore we can very safely assume we've got an extremely high level of antiretroviral going back into our sewage return flow. So now we are producing viruses and bacteria in the rivers and in the dams. We are feeding them with raw sewage under conditions when we get very hot summers, etc. We are creating perfect replication environment for them to grow and proliferate, but then into the mix, throwing antiretrovirals, and it's even more interesting, we're throwing antibiotics. So we're throwing partly metabolized antibiotics. So we are breeding a kind of super bug, but it is not an impossible thing. It's not beyond the realms of plausibility. We are going to start seeing some drug-resistant pathogens coming back from water resources. So, I've written about this. I've given up talking about it because people just don't listen. They don't care.
Anthony, where do we start? I mean, can this still be fixed? Is it too far gone already?
We must never lose hope, So, I've been sounding a bit negative here, and I apologize for that. But it's we must never, ever lose hope. But we've got to have a credible leadership. We've got to have a credible government department. So, I would really like our new minister to reach out and to show leadership and to say that he's taking this matter seriously and that he's doing something about it. I really would like him to do that. To date, I haven't seen any indication of that. In fact, I know that I post some of this stuff on my Facebook page. A lot of journalists follow that and they use it. I know that the Minister of Cooperative Governance has responded. So we've got a bit of leadership from the Minister of Cooperative Governance. I've still not seen any response from the Minister of Water and Sanitation. It's supposed to be water and sanitation because of the sewage crisis in the country. So, until such time as government gets serious about governing and gets serious about delivering fundamental services to people across society, and until such time as the ruling party starts to deploy people into positions that they are technically capable of managing, when that moment happens, that's when we're going to start seeing a turnaround. Before that, I'm seeing it turning around.
Do you think that possibly pressure from the Ministry of Health would make a difference? Because surely the Minister of Health needs to also jump on board and be involved in this because of the health risks.
in an ideal world, that would happen. But I cite the example of KZN. I happen to own a house down in KZN in the Ugu district. So in the Ugu district, we had the same thing happening. There's a hospital there called the Murchison Hospital. The Murchison Hospital deals with a population that has got a very high level of HIV endemic in society there. It for weeks on end goes without water. For weeks, this has been happening now for years. It's not just a recent phenomenon. That's why I said earlier on that we're only seeing the stuff now. We're only seeing the VAAL River. We're not seeing the Murchison Hospital stuff. So in the case of the Murchison Hospital, there's a track record that's covered. It's a fact track record that's out there for all of the public to see, that when a crisis happens, some of the doctors start complaining because they get sick, they can't wash their hands between surgical procedures, and they start complaining that they can't provide the healthcare. What happens? It goes up the line to the Department of Health. The Department of Health kicks it across to the Department of Water Affairs. The operative governance thing kicks in, and one government department cannot intervene in the affairs of another because the Constitution says the operative governance clause, the way it's interpreted, one government department may not act against another. So, yes, surely it's a health issue. So it is a health issue. Who's speaking out there that's credible about it? Who's saying, well, this has got to stop? Other than very
One seems to get the sense here that government departments are hiding behind legalese, and this is at the expense of the citizens, because the people who will suffer most is the people of South Africa, and that is who the legal system is supposed to be protecting, the citizens of South Africa. But as you said, they are literally failing the people of South Africa by not taking action here. Would people...
You break it very badly. I can't hear what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that you seem to get the impression that these government departments are hiding behind legal language not to step in and help the people of Cape Town, the people of Gauteng, the very people that they are supposed to protect, or that the law protects. And they're failing in their duty to provide clean water to people. Apart from that, they're putting their lives at risks. What about also the agricultural aspect? What effect will this have on agriculture in the region?
You broke a bit all of that. You asked about agriculture, and you asked something about government delivering services. Look, government failed. We are dealing with state failure. I've increasingly been saying this now. The sewage crisis in the country is an existential crisis for the entire country. And it is a manifestation of the problem. It is not a problem of its own. It is a manifestation of systemic failure. So because the government has failed to deliver fundamental services, it has failed in its collection of taxes. It has failed in the way it's managed state-owned enterprises. It has failed in the way that it has racked up massive debt for Eskom, so big that if that debt was called in tomorrow, the government would not be able to pay it. So we become a failed state. This is the problem. So the sewage is just one of those manifestations. It's not the only crisis in the country, but this is the one that's in your face. So the question is now, what will be the straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back? Is it this? Are we going to go into a summer now, maybe a summer of extreme drought? I don't know. We've lived through all of this, for the last couple of years, and I hope it's not likely again. But are we going to maybe go into a very hot summer when we now having enteric outbreaks or some other pathogenic invasion by some new bug that we don't know how to control? We don't know. And we saw what happened with the listeriosis story this last year. It's not directly related to this. But, how long did it take to wake up and smell the roses about that? Same story here now. So, I think we're just bounding from crisis to crisis without any credible management, without any credible plan in place. And now the bottom line is we've got to get our sewage pumps to work, and we've got to get our sewage stations to work. We are returning on average in the country every day 5 billion liters of sewage every day goes back into our waters in the country. 5 billion liters a day. Of that, about 4.2 billion is not treated. So this is it's a national issue, and hopefully the sewage crisis coming on top of that recent published report about plastics and microplastics in our water. Maybe that will galvanize opinion, because what surprised me about the plastic story was when a whale died in Norway, and the media were there, and they did a dissection of the whale, and they found plastic bags in its stomach. Almost overnight, you got mainstream media, BBCs and your Sky News, etc., all immediately adopting this plastic story. So the plastic was so one whale dies in Norway, the mainstream media globally picks it up, and they start running campaigns, and people start changing their view about single-use plastics. Now maybe that the plastic story is also in South Africa, the microplastics that's also coming into our drinking water flows. Maybe that is the thing that's going to galvanize people. The important thing is that this is not a partisan political issue. This is an issue that faces every South African, whether you're rich or poor, black, white, blue, pink, or green. The color makes no difference, okay? Every South African is affected by this crisis. And we've got to get away from a situation where people like me get up and say there's a crisis, and other people that are in power don't want to listen. They say, he's just a whining, whinging, whatever he is, and they just sort of push him aside because he's irrelevant. It's not like that at all. This has got to become a public awareness issue, and the public have to say, we did not vote for a democratic government in order to have the privilege of drinking someone else's untreated sewage. Finished. Blah. That's what we have to do.
We've got a very interesting question here from Ray de Vries in the comments. He asks, what effect does it have on investment in South Africa?
Investment, Ray, it's a very good question. Investments in South Africa is dead. Investment, we became net negative in 2013, I think 2013, 2014, there was a net outflow of foreign direct investment out of South Africa. South Africa is no longer an investment haven other than for the Chinese. They're the only ones that are coming in. There is no other investment. In fact, just today, I was riding my motorbike and part of a group, and one of the guys in the group, his son is involved in moving private capital outside of South Africa. So there is a substantial migration of capital out of South Africa as a result of not only of this problem, as a result of the whole land story and the whole lack of leadership, the whole policy vacuum, where we can have people just occupying buildings, hijacking buildings, but we can't get rid of them. The hijackers have got rights, but the owners haven't. So all of these things speak to a crisis, and as I said earlier on, an existential crisis is a systemic failure of the system of government in South Africa.
That's a very precarious situation that we find ourselves in.
I wish I could be happy. I want we should all be happy.
Anthony, is it a lack of funding? Can we ascribe this to a lack of funding?
Sorry, say that again. You were bouncing around.
Can we ascribe this failure to a lack of funding, or is it purely a lack of leadership?
No, the funding was there. It was stolen. The money was stolen. The money's been hijacked. The money's gone into the Gupta's accounts. The money's gone into the Zuma accounts. The money's gone into lawyers' accounts. Just look at what Scope is doing right now. The Scope is currently doing an investigation into the Department of Water and Sanitation. And I don't know what the exact number is, but we're talking many billions of rand in fruitless expenditure. Blown, gone, that's gone for our parent project. It's gone, it's finished, it's gone. So now we have a situation where the department's bankrupt. It's bankrupt. What does it do? Now, it employs people who are going to pay their salaries. I mean, what does it do? It goes back to the taxman. The taxman's got to pay, so the taxman's being squeezed now. The taxman can't be squeezed much more. There's going to be a tax revolt. You've seen a tax revolt already taking place in South Africa, and I alert everyone to this. I'm a loyal tax-paying citizen, because as a good citizen, we've got to all pay our taxes. That's what keeps us government going. But we've seen through the whole Italy crisis, there was the first nationwide boycotting tax system. So to the extent that Italy has failed, we are really seeing and I'm involved at the moment in patent applications, etc. People that own patents right now are actually, they're not registering patents in South Africa, they're registering outside of South Africa because of the tax implications. So our tax situation has become an impediment to future economic growth and development. We get back to the central issue here, which is really around the central issue, the failure of the state to create an enabling environment to attract capital, to create jobs, to solve the problems that the daily citizens have, and that's ultimately manifest now. There's a lot of things. One of them being our sewage in our floating down the street. Today, when I was riding my motorbike, I went down a road. Just a few months ago, the road was there. Now the road's gone. The road's been scarified away. I don't know when someone's going to replace the road. Suddenly, the road that used to be there is not there anymore. That's what it is. Every day things change. You've got to just be careful where you ride.
It really is something that. So, in your opinion, the best ammunition we could possibly have now is mass media getting behind this, and possibly, there's been so much outcry from people in the area that has been personally affected by this. But I would think that the hope is that we have to get an outcry coming from a lot more people across the country, because the one thing that struck me about what you said earlier is that this does not just affect people that live around the VAAL Dam. This is much bigger. This will have a knock-on effect on the entire country. And so we need to get mainstream media behind this problem.
Yes, and then what are we going to do? No, so what are we going to do? Are we going to issue a criminal charge against the minister, or are we going to write a petition? Or what are we going to do? The government doesn't care. They don't respond. They don't respond. So short of us actually literally getting a criminal case together where someone is criminally prosecuted, I don't see anything else changing. Sorry, I hate to sound pessimistic, but I just don't see under the current impasse where there's just no coherent leadership. The ship is rudderless. It's going around in circles, drifting aimlessly in the middle of the ocean. We don't know if we're going north, south, east, or west. We just like drifting around. The engine's broken. The rudder goes one way. The staff is half on strike. The other half are incompetent. So we just drifting. We're just drifting. So also start with someone gets something and say, we are now going north. There's north. This is what we're going to do. This is the plan. We are now going to invest money into the water infrastructure. We need $1 trillion. We're going to put $1 trillion into the water sector, and we're going to privatize the 800 wastewater works. We're going to enter into some private partnership that we can raise the capital needed to fix these things, because we don't have the capital. The government is bankrupt. They don't have the money. They can't raise it other than squeezing taxes. And I've explained that people are closing their businesses and they're migrating the capital out of the country because of the tax story. So we are in a crisis. We are in an absolute national crisis. And the little cherry on top of the crisis, or the little one sprinkling on the side of this great big cake, is in fact the sewage crisis. That's not the whole crisis. The sewage crisis is only one little visible bit that's in your face. The rest of it is invisible. It's all out there, but it's all about systemic failure.
Anthony, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. It is a shocking situation. We hope that all of you that are watching this broadcast will share it. Our hope is that this will be picked up by mainstream media, because it's the only way that we can possibly find a way of forcing the government into taking action, into providing leadership and guidance to tackle this problem. Because right now it seems like a stalemate situation. Nobody's doing anything about nothing. I've seen videos going past of people virtually almost in tears out of frustration that nothing's being done about this. Anthony, any final word from you?
Yeah, John, say one or two things. I mean, I really want to support our minister in Quinte. I want to reach out to the minister. Please, Mr. Minister, listen to us, okay? Please do the right thing. Unfortunately, there's no confidence coming out of the minister, because the first thing that the minister did when he took office was he made a public statement that there's corruption in the department, and then he makes a statement that the very people guilty of corruption, there's going to be no retribution. They're going to be forgiven. Simple as that. That's not good enough. If that's the case, then we are pardoning. If we don't sanction bad behavior, we're going to continue to get it. So that's what I'd like to say to the minister. Please, Mr. Minister, this is a serious, serious crisis. I would love to be able to stand alongside you and say good things about what we are doing in the country. At the moment, it's just not good at all. The second thing I want to say is, I wrote a document a couple of years ago for the Institute of Race Relations. They asked me to apply my mind to the whole water quality problem and how it affects the poor in South Africa. I'll send you a copy of that document, and then if you want to, you can distribute it as you see fit. But what that does is it explains, going back to the international literature on the microsystem story, the blue-green algae story, it explains, what the implications of that are. And I think it's a very, very serious issue. And I think we should educate people without scaring them. We should educate them on what the issue are. So I will send you that paper, Bridgetti, and then you can decide what you're going to do with it.
Thank you very much. Yes, I definitely would like that. Anthony, thank you so much for your time. I value your input, value your expertise, and I think the people of South Africa value your expertise. And I would like to echo your words, saying that we would welcome the Minister of Water and Sanitation to come on board and take leadership and take action, because that's basically what we're asking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and please share the broadcast. From us, it's goodbye for now.